Hello everybody, it's Mish here and welcome to my channel. If you're new or returning, I thank you so much for being here, and I do hope you return for more. Today I'm going to be doing the next week in my Margarete Miller Collage Challenge glue book, I guess. I got this book at a thrift store and I loved the feel. I loved the size of the pages. They're roughly 8.5 by 10 3/4. If you haven't seen my previous collages, they are in the playlist Margarete Miller 2024. So this is week 23, and the prompts are a key, a building, white space, something magical, an office supply, and bonus is tissue paper, which I don't think I'll be using the bonus. But today I thought I would start out and just talk about some of the images. So I wanted to limit myself this week to just some magazines. So I went into my onto my bookcase and I pulled off this Victoria magazine, which is relatively recent. It was in March, and this one here was such a great buy because there are still so many images, and I've already used it in one of my collages, so I pulled that one out. I had this one where women create. I got this at the thrift store the other day, and this one is from 2013, and then a couple more that I had picked up from the thrift store. So I pulled those and I came up with a number of images. I also went to I have a bin of images, so I just picked this up at the dollar store, and then anytime I get a little image, I stick it in here. I took some white card and made some little dividers. So I have this to kind of keep things organized, as well as I bought a big kind of banker's box from IKEA, and I use that sort of as a file to house some of the bigger images. So I grabbed, these aren't really related to the prompts, but I kind of liked this as a building. This was just, it was already cut up. I thought that might be something magical, as well as this. I love the Northern Lights. Another building are these little birdhouses. I ended up using this image as something a little bit magical, and I'll get back to that. I thought about using some dresser's pattern for my tissue paper, but I didn't. Some white space would be those roses. Something magical. Those are definitely magic mushrooms. A little key was there, as well as a bunch of keys on this little bulletin board. A building and some letters and a seal, which you may find as office supplies, especially back in the day. And I sometimes live back in the day. But I did pick my images, and today we're going to go on a little bit of a magical journey. And it's going to start out with just getting down some background paper. I am using just some runner tape, as I'm trying to keep the book kind of as less warping as possible. And with the runner tape, it doesn't make my pages warp at all. So I'm going to get down some graph paper, which is a supply you may find in an office, particularly if it has to do with urban planning or charting or something. So then the next thing I'm going to put down is my building. So I absolutely love that. I got that from the Victoria magazine. I am just going to put a little bit of tape in the middle till I figure out the exact placement in case I do want to move it or tuck something underneath it. And I think that's a good tip if you're new at collage, because then you have space to tuck and do stuff. So this is my little house, and in this house is a locked box, and in the box is a letter. And today's collage is about a quest to save the kingdom. So Bella and Bertie have been on a quest to try to save the kingdom from ruin and from stagnation and decay, because the bees have gone, they've gone, and they're not really sure why the bees have gone. So we'll come back to that in a second. But in the locked box is a letter, and our main characters must find the letter, which would always also be an office supply, paper and letter writing material. They need to find this letter because that's going to tell them where they need to go next. So for my white space, I'm using these daisies. And the daisies are going to literally hold the key to the locked box. And the key is hidden. It's magical. This key, thank you, Ruth, is a Happy Mail that I received a while ago from Ruth in Ireland. And I got my key stuck to it. But I want to make a little pocket for my key to sit in. And she sent that to me in the mail. And I love keys. So I thought this is a great opportunity to use that key. So in the daisies are my hidden key. Now I'm leaving it up some because I want to see it in my collage. But the intent is that it is hidden. And the only person that can get that key is the fairy. And she's a daisy fairy. And she's going to be hard to see in the daisies. But this also came from Ruth. And I'm going to use my glue for this one. And the daisies hold the key, literally, to the future success of the mission. So we got our little daisy fairy down, and she's definitely magical. And I didn't really glue the wings much because I do like it. I do like the dimension of it. But in order to get to the daisies, you must first pass through this magical door. And I love this. As soon as I saw it in the bigger image, and then I found the smaller one kind of in the table of contents. I just thought, doesn't that look magical? Like if you went through there, where would you go? But when you go through the magical door, I'm in Canada, so I actually end up on the other side of the world. And I end up in New Zealand. And this stamp came from Lynn and some Happy Mail. And this is a New Zealand stamp. And this also would be an office supply. But I'm going to wait a minute before I put that down, because I think I've got a little bit, I just want to put a little bit of a border under there to add a little bit of a frame, or just kind of set the two images a little bit apart. So I'm trying to get that straight. So I just wanted to put a little border there, and then I'll put my little stamp. Actually, I'm just going to wait a minute for the stamp. The stamp's going to go right about there. But in order to pass through the magical door, you need to have a spell. So another office supply would be a book, and this is a book in the apothecary's office. And this is a book of spells. And in here, and in this book of spells, you have a number of options. And the options are in jars. So you must pick the spell that leads to the opening of the right jar. And the right jar is the jar with the daisies, because then you have the daisy spell. And I'm adding this as a little bit of white space. There is printing there, but it's largely a white image. The other thing that would be, see, I knew that there'd be a time I'd need to pull this up for a second. So the spell that you'll find is written on a page of the apothecary's book. And this is the spell. It's not, but I'm pretending that it is. So we're going to get the spell down. And then we'll get the book down, our little spell book, to choose the right. And when you choose the right spell that opens up the right bottle, you get passage through the magical door into the land of the Daisy Fairy. And if you can charm the Daisy Fairy, she will give you the key that allows you to enter the house and to get the letter out of the box. However, in order to open the box, you also need to know a code. And the code, this is a clock, which would also be found in an office. The code is on the wall in the building, and it's in the form of the clock. So they must look at the clock and understand that the numbers that you need are based on what the clock is telling you. So you can't progress until you have two things. You need to understand that the clock in the house is a clue, and you need the key. In an office, we'll also find tags. And I found this tag and I just loved it. It says, "Dream, every day that we don't dance is a betrayal of life." I thought that was so cute. So this is a sticker. I'm just going to get that sticker down. And then I'm going to be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, where were we? So let's get some of this tacked down a little bit more. And I always leave a space for my prompt. So I'm going to leave that in here, I think, which is fine. I'll stick it in the end there. All right, so Belly and Bertie have quite the quest. The other thing about the quest is that there are a number of letters in the safe. And the safe will only allow one letter at a time to be taken. So Bertie and Bella must pick the right letter. And how they're going to do that is because they have a little secret and that they know what seal they're looking for. So the seal, which I will reveal in just one moment, is very important. I just wanted to do a little bit of embellishing before I get to the secret. And of course I have to have a butterfly. And then I just lost my New Zealand stamp. I have the sweatshirt on and it's a bit baggy. Did I stick it under here? And I sometimes, there it is, pull things off the page onto my lap. So I have these other stamps that you may find in an office. My office has quite a few stamps. I mail quite a few letters. So I thought we could get that down. And then I wanted to layer my New Zealand stamp on the top. And I'm not too bothered to cover up some of the door here, but I don't want to cover it all up. So I'm going to move this up a bit. Actually, what I think I'll do is I'll cut a piece piece off it. There we go. And then I can put this one right here. Okay, and then I'll get my New Zealand stamp down. It'll make me think of Lynn. Okay, so how Bella and Birdie are gonna know which letter is because they have to pick the letter with the right seal. And if they don't, they're gonna be in trouble. So the right seal has a little B on it. And also the B is remembrance of my mom. So while I'm just going to let that dry a minute. I also came across some washi tape that I had forgot that I had. And there's little daisies here, which are little white spaces. So I thought I would use this opportunity to have some more washi. Never have too much washi, but I thought that would go good with the colors and the spread. So I thought I'd put a little piece there, maybe a little piece up here. Okay, and then this was from Creative Studios. I think I just said that. And then I had two other tapes from Creative Studio that I had forgot that I had, as I had put it away in a different, I'd put it in a bin with stuff that I had got from Creative Studio. So I forgot to use it, and I'll have to put it from now on. I'll need to put it with my other washi tape. And then this too, that I picked up from Creative Studio. And see, there's our little bee. I don't know if he picks it up well. So they need to grab the letter with the bee. All right, so I think that's come together pretty good. We do have all our prompts. Just before I finish here, though, I want to do a little bit of stamping. I often do that in my collage just as a way to, I don't know, finish or draw things together. So I wanted to do things a little bit related to an office. And again, you'd find stamps and letters in an office. So I really like this little postage stamp that says positive postage. I am using a Sahara Sand ink, which is just a light ink, because I don't want to overshadow the page. So I like that it's just in the background. And I'm just going to put a few around. And then I'm just going to put the little lines of the canceled part of the stamp. Just kind of get that around, just for a bit of interest. And back in the day, of course, when we used the wax seals, you wouldn't have cancel stamps. But I just think it's a good little effect. And then I got the latest Vicky P stamps, and I can never say her last name. Vicky P-A-P, well, you can read it there, I think. Maybe you can't, it's too small. P-A-P-A-I-O-N-N-O-I. And somebody asked me in the comments, and I went back to try to find the comment, because at the time I wanted to double check my information, but Vicky P, as far as I know, doesn't have kind of her own shop. She is on Instagram, and I think it's Vicky GR_P. So you can check her out there. And she does have a link tree where she links all her products and all the products that she uses on her Instagram pages. So you can check her out there. I buy my stuff, so I'm in Canada, and I buy my stuff through Scrapbook Central, and it's in Montreal. I like them because they have a flat rate delivery. So to come to Nova Scotia is $20, but you also get points. So for so much that you spend, you then can get like $20 off something, or like free postage. So, and I find that it's nice to support, you know, kind of Canadian shops as well. You can get a lot of her stuff on, I think, stampbook.com, as well as Joggles has a lot of her stuff. Oh, I love that stamping. A little bit there. Okay. So before we go, I just wanted to show some Happy Mail that I received. So the other day I went to my post and received a great big box with a lot of stuff from Valentina. And I didn't realize that in Canada we have, I love that ribbon. It's like a sheer and it's about 1/4 of an inch. That will come in so handy. She just packed this box full. And I didn't realize in Canada that we have flat rate boxes. So you buy the box, depending on what size, and then you can fill it. I love those little cards. You can fill it full of stuff, and it just costs a flat rate. So, and I think you have up to like 10 or 11 pounds. Yeah. She did the little image transfer. I just love that onto the muslin. And then made some tags. I absolutely love this tag. This is going in my junk journal. I've been trying, and this one as well. I've been trying to get my next junk journal video up with my garden story, but I've just been so busy. I'm working full time, so it's pretty much 5 days a week I'm working, and then I'm trying to get my garden sorted, which if you've noticed, I got paint on my hands, and I try to scrub my fingers, but dirt on my fingers. But soon the garden will be pretty much where I want it to be, so then I'll only have to water, and then I'll have kind of more time to do more of my videos. A washi sampler, I just love that. Love, love, love that. And then just some bits and bobs that I can use in my journaling. Some keys, I love that. Love, love, love it. And just some little journal cards, some background, or I can make a journal card of that. I could use that as a building. I already have my thing done up though. A little pouch I love that little pouch, and so many ideas that I'm just so blessed that you guys, I don't know, just it's so nice to be thought of. Love the fairy cards. I could have used that today too, though that was a bit big. Some stickers. She made me a card. I love that. I'm going to use that card as well. I, of course, love the butterfly stickers. Some vellummed paper. And I love these little bags. I do look around here to find little bags, and I just find that they're hard to find. This I thought was very interesting. This is a board, but it's made from pulp. So I just found that was really cool, and it's like really hard. It's almost like even harder than cardboard. It's like a thick chipboard. And I'm thinking I could use this for like journal covers. So I thought that was great. Then I really loved this. This is one of the sewing patterns with the laminated front. Now I've done this before. And I've also done this, I'm trying to find an example here, of for the kids. And one of my friends, they were traveling this year. So I made them some traveler's notebooks. And I took some paper, which I can't find now. I thought I had a... Anyway, and I took some paper to make the travel journal cover, and I laminated it. But this I love is that she took the paper from the tissue paper and treated it so that it's quite sturdy, so you could use it for pockets and stuff. So I'm definitely going to do some of that. And then just some little ephemera there. And again, some interesting, this is quite thick paper. It's like drawer paper. So I love that. That'd be great for like a woody background. And then another design. So thank you so much, Valentina. It was just like Christmas. I do appreciate and will use the bits and pieces. She also gave me a little wooden slice with a fairy on it, but I have that hanging on my bulletin board. So thank you very much. And I did receive another postcard, and that was from Joy in Hawaii. I was so jealous, and I can definitely use some of this in probably a future collage. So thank you so much, Joy. That's actually bringing me joy. I wish I was at the beach right now. But if you did like today's video, I'd love for you to give me a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It just makes me so happy to come in and kind of, I feel sometimes like I'm really talking to you. And with your comments, I've gotten to know some of you in the emails. If you ever did want to email me, my email is usually in the description box below. But until next week, I hope you stay safe and well, and bye for now.